I'm Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington with a News 3 Now First Warned Weather Update on alert day conditions, giving you that opportunity to ask your questions of me as we continue to track impactful alert day conditions lasting overnight tonight all the way through your Wednesday for widespread 4 to 10 inches of accumulating snow. We'll have windy conditions. We already have had deteriorating road conditions, accidents, tree branches down, what have you, and there's more of this storm to go, quite a bit more of this storm to go for that matter. I'm going to give folks a couple moments to dial in here. We're live on Facebook, on Channel 3000's Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on channel3000.com, and I'm going to take a couple moments to make sure that I'm connected here to our live Facebook feed. We've done a number of these, and this is a nice opportunity just to sit back, have your post-dinner cup of coffee. I've got my water over here. If you've got questions about this alert day, impacts, any question that you have is probably a question somebody else has as well. Start thinking about those questions, and I'm just going to double check and make sure that here on our end that I'm able to see those questions. I'll try to answer the majority of those questions as they come in here. So before we get to those questions, I'm going to do an overview of what's going on. A lot of folks are getting home from work, or maybe you struggle to get home from work with alert day conditions and those impactful roads out there. And it looks like we've got people dialing in. Good evening to you as well. Much appreciated your attention here, and again, your opportunity to ask questions of me. Let's do an overview of what's going on and what you can expect over the course of the next 24 hours or so. So we have alert day conditions. We've been talking about this for days. Total snow accumulations 4 to 10 inches across there, with the highest amounts from Madison and points towards the north and towards the east. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about the complexity in this snowfall forecast, which is always tricky in the springtime, especially when you get into April, for a number of reasons. These impacts are going to last overnight tonight and last clear through your Wednesday. So even though snow is starting to lighten up in some parts of southern Wisconsin, it ain't done yet, and I will show more about that in just a couple moments. We do have winter storm warnings in effect for a good portion of southern Wisconsin, Madison and points to the north. Not going to be shocked to see another county or two added to the winter storm warning criteria. Folks have asked, well, what is a winter storm warning criteria? Need about 6 inches of snow and wind gusts of approximately 30 to 35 miles per hour, and we've got those winds coming as well, and the snow again is going to continue to pile up, and we've already had a decent amount of it. The winter weather advisory is for lesser amounts of snow, less than 6 inches of snow, and those for folks out over northeast Iowa, southwest Wisconsin, down towards Janesville currently are under the winter weather advisories as we go on into your Wednesday. So those are the winter weather bulletins that will carry us through our Wednesday. What are we expecting here? And bravo to Kelly for putting this out first in town here, an updated snowfall map showing the increased confidence in those higher totals, widespread 4 to 10 inches. And when I mean 4 to 10 inches, areas down towards Janesville, you might see the lesser amounts of snow for reasons I'll get into in a couple of moments. The heaviest amounts really eyeing up Madison, Sauk County, Columbia County, up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties, where we could see upwards of 6, 8, 10 plus inches, maybe more, for reasons, again, I'm going to explain here, but just doing the overview at this point. We'll get into some of those details and your questions in just a moment. Doppler track showing a decrease in snowfall activity as we speak right now. I'll circle that for you. Where we're seeing a decrease in that snowfall activity, a decent portion of southern Wisconsin. This would include Grant, Sauk, Columbia, Iowa, Dane, Green Rock, Lafayette counties over towards Jefferson, and even Janesville. But this is just the beginning of this weather event. That snow is going to fill back in to southern Wisconsin as we carry on through the rest of the overnight period, and it's going to continue to snow on into your Wednesday as well. This is a snowfall estimate out there right now based upon our radar, and I can confirm it's doing a pretty decent job. You see that 4-inch amount over southwestern Dane County. WIC-TV studios are on the southwest side of Madison, and we have consistently measured between 3 and 5 inches already with this weather event. And I've had some folks on social media saying, well, how do you not know the snowfall totals? Well, we need your reports too. Just like a rainfall event, we can estimate that with our radar. Gives us a good indication of how much has fallen out there. 2, 4, 5, maybe some isolated 6-inch amounts already across southern Wisconsin. But we absolutely appreciate your reports because that helps us verify our totals, and we pass those along to the National Weather Service. So this is what has fallen thus far, and there's more snow where that came from. Let's track that here with Future Track. Notice the southern part of the area, Lone Rock, Madison, Darlington, Monroe, and Janesville. Quiet but breezy as we head towards 11 o'clock. Then as we move forward towards 12 o'clock, that snow starts to spill back in from the north and from the east. We see that snow really ramp back up again as we head towards that 6 o'clock rush hour time frame with strong winds. That's another big part of our weather story here with our alert day conditions, and that snow continuing through the morning hours, through the noon hours. It's that wet, heavy variety of snow that could come down at a decent clip from time to time, just like what we saw earlier to the middle portion of the afternoon. Finally, by about this time on your Wednesday night, the snow should be starting to ramp down, but the gusty winds and the chilly temperatures will continue. Continuing our overview, and then we're going to look at some of our questions here and start to answer those and get into some of the details. So if you've got questions, please submit those, channel3000.com Facebook, and I will answer those. And if you've got a question, I guarantee somebody else has probably got the same question. We've had wind gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour, and just look at these gusts by the time we get to your Wednesday afternoon as that center of low pressure really eyes up Milwaukee. I'm going to circle that for you here, just on the far eastern part of the map. We typically see the strongest winds on the north and west side of an area of low pressure like this, and this is also often where the heaviest snowfall totals will eye up as well, and that seems to be quite in alignment of our snowfall total graphic that we were showing as well. So windy conditions on your Wednesday alone is enough to be impactful and disruptive, let alone the snow that we're expecting to redevelop. And finally, overall impacts. Where you see the red, that means high impacts. Where you see the green, that means low impacts. High impacts from snow periodically falling, heavy at times, strong wind gusts to 40 to 50 miles per hour as we move into the overnight going on into your Wednesday. Continuation of accumulation of snow. We'll talk about the road conditions here in just a moment. The good news is at least it's not bitterly cold. We're well into April, so our temperatures are moderate but cold enough for that heavy wet snow. So let's see what we've got here for questions. I'm going to try to answer as many of them as I can here. Are we going to have a snow day tomorrow is one that is popping in here. I'm pretty confident that we're going to have snow building back in, as I was just showing overnight tonight, lasting into your Wednesday, and the combination of the snow and strong winds will at least cause reduced visibilities, and slushy snow accumulations will continue on your Wednesday. Spring, where is it? I know we've been spoiled. I've lived in Wisconsin pretty much my entire life. I grew up near Arena, and I'm spoiled with this too. I just heard the frogs out at the farm in Arena. I thought, oh, we've turned the corner, but winter made its comeback. But I've got good news. I will show that later in this live cast here. We do have good news. Spring will make a return to answer that question. Thank you for going live. Very informative and helpful. I appreciate that very much, because this is my opportunity to interact with you, to answer your questions, because when you're on TV, you don't have a live audience, and sometimes you don't have that opportunity to answer questions. Any idea if Rock County will go into a warning? I'm going to go back to just one moment here to our weather bulletin, so that show the winter storm warnings and show the winter weather advisories. So right now, Rock County, you are under a winter weather advisory. I think the better chances for the winter storm warning, if there are going to be any additions, are probably going to be for Iowa and maybe Jefferson counties, because that heavy snow is really going to set up mostly for Madison and points towards the north and towards the east. But be vigilant, because any wobble in the track of this storm could move that heavy snow band a little bit further to the south. And more snow is coming for Rock County, as I just was showing before. It will build back in around midnight and last on and off through at least the lunch hour on your Wednesday. Will it freeze tonight? That is an excellent question. I'm going to actually take a moment here and move to travel impacts, because this is really critical, especially for April with these temperatures out there. This is what I'm anticipating for impacts for travel overnight going on into your Wednesday. The continuation of slushy road accumulations, even on those primary traveled roads. We've already seen that today. Why? The snowfall rate came down at a heavy of enough clip that it started to accumulate even on those warm surfaces. You have a little bit of snow, and you add more snow and more snow and more snow. You got a snow base that just allows the snow to accumulate. And that's what the First Warn Weather Team, we were talking about complexity over these past couple days. First, to let you know that even though this is an April snowstorm, it is complex. If those temperatures are warm enough to melt the snow, you don't get the snow to accumulate on the pavement. But it did, because the snow came down at such a fast enough rate, it overtook the warm surfaces, even came down at such a fast enough rate. We even had reports of thunder and lightning with some of the snow bands today, and that's indicative, that is characteristic, I should say, of really heavy snow if you've got thunder and lightning going on too. Those cold back roads, you don't have a lot of that friction from continuous movement from vehicles, so those roads tend to slicken up more. I anticipate those roads, the back roads, the bridges, overpasses, the on-ramps, to also be slick as well. But you asked the question here, is it going to be freezing tonight? Really close, about 30 to 32 degrees across southern Wisconsin. Those outlying communities as well, where those temperatures have a tendency to dip more, will likely get down to that 30, 31, 32 degree mark. And it's that perfect temperature that's just cold enough to allow that snow to stick. So that will actually add to the stick factor as well here, so to speak. You got the heavy snow coming down that will return later tonight. You got temperatures near freezing. That's a perfect recipe for accumulation of snow, not just on the grassy surfaces and on the trees and on the back roads, but also those primary roads as well, which are in bad shape, as we've been discussing all evening during our 4, 5, and 6 o'clock shows. And appreciate some of these other questions that are coming in about country roads, folks verifying the thunder snow as well. Not an uncommon occurrence. Some folks, it seems strange that it might thunder in a winter weather event. It absolutely can occur. Back in the past, it used to be a thing in the weather community where thunder snow was considered a rare occurrence, and we've had plenty of reports of that over the course of the past decades, that thunder snow is a thing, and lightning too. All right. Let's see if we have some other questions. I'm just going to hit a refresh here on my channel3000.com Facebook page. We're going to keep this live event going till about another 10 to 15 minutes or so, because then we're going to actually be doing some live cut-ins periodically, give folks update on road conditions. I will be doing a recap as well of the latest of what you can expect with this in late season impactful winter storm. Let's see if we have any other questions that are coming in. Chances are, if you have questions, other people have questions too. Will schools be canceled? Channel3000.com, we already got those school cancellations streaming. I would not be shocked to see more cancellations tomorrow as winter storm warnings continue, at least through the morning hours, and winter weather advisories. And we are expecting the continuation of snow and wind through a good portion of your Wednesday as well. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to take a quick peek here and see again. Just do another check here at our questions, see if we have anything else here popping in. Again, if you've got questions, feel free to ask them, because chances are somebody else has those questions as well. I'm going to actually move here to somebody asked, when is spring going to return? We've talked enough about this impactful weather event here. We do have good news on the way. Let's relish in a little bit of good news here as well. The First Warm Weather Team give you the first update. Temperatures will eventually warm as we go out into next week, cracking into the 50s and 60s, and that will cause melting of the snow that we have out there. We need the water too. I grew up on a farm, so even though this is an impactful weather event where we're expecting 4, 6, 8, 10 inches of snow, maybe more in some isolated areas, the water is greatly appreciated. I'm sure if you're a farmer or know a farmer and tuning in, you would agree with me on that one, that the moisture is appreciated. All right. How much snow did Sun Prairie get so far? Let's go back here really quick to our overview. This is an estimate that I'm going to show here. This is not necessarily a spotter indicated amount of snow. This is an estimate right now. Dane County right now, generally between 2, 3, 4 inches of snow has fallen across Dane County. I can even zoom in here just a little bit, see if I can do better than just give you an overall estimate. So here's Sun Prairie. This is just a radar estimate. And right now, over the course of the past 6 hours, indicating upwards of about 3 inches of snow. Let's talk about that snow as well. Because it is so warm out right now, and it is a heavy snow, you have two things going on. You've got melting of snow, and you have compaction of snow. Compaction is really just the weight of the snow leaning on itself. So while it comes down heavy and you measure 4 inches, as the weight of it builds up, it settles down to 3.5 inches and then 3 inches because of the weight. But then you also have the melting underneath. The warm ground underneath the snow is melting the snow from underneath as well. So that also helps to bring those inches down. So that's actually a good point here of detail, that even though the First Warn Weather Team is projecting 4 to 10 inches of snow overall with some isolated higher amounts, you've got the compaction of the snow and the warm surfaces melting that snow at the same time. So even though the total amount of snow that we get out of this weather system will range from 4 to 10 plus inches, that melting is helping to cut down on what you actually see sticking outside. Best places to do those measurements are out in open grassy areas, not on pavement or not on a sidewalk, but open grassy areas that allow that snow to really build up. All right. Hopefully that answers your question about Sun Prairie snowfall totals. No power 5 miles north of Montello up to the north. Our friends up towards Marquette and Green Lake counties here. Let's just take a quick peek up here at Marquette and Green Lake counties. Right now you do have that snow really rocking and rolling still up towards Montello and up towards Green Lake counties. And just zoom in here and get a little bit better view of Marquette and Green Lake counties. Have your snow just to your north right now, but that's going to be coming back in from the north. And we have had some reports of some branches down, so not shocked with branches coming down with the weight of the heavy snow. The winds that we're going to be expecting upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour really ramping up tonight. Not going to be shocked, to see more scattered power outages across the area. So thank you. I appreciate you passing that along. Also appreciate the thanks for doing these. This is a nice opportunity for me to connect with you away from the camera, where we don't have this opportunity to answer these questions that might be really important to you and really important to other people. Madison school closed tomorrow. I know Madison can be a bit on the conservative side of canceling, but right now the greatest impacts are for heavy snow and wind 6 to 10 inches. Some of the snow is melting on contact, even though the roads are bad out there in the Madison metro area and adjacent communities. My gut is telling me that our great snow crews are going to be able to keep up with some of this, especially because we're getting a brief reprieve from the snow as we speak right now. So I can't forecast for Madison Metro canceling, but I think the likelihood of Madison Metro canceling is probably on the lower end compared to a community. We'll pick on our friends out in southwest Wisconsin that have large geographical areas with lots of hills and terrain and secondary roads that those bus services have to deal with. Probably stand a better chance of delays and cancellations on your Wednesday. Let's see if we have some other questions. Is the temp going to go below 32 in Fitchburg? That's a great question for a number of reasons. I'm actually going to load up our Doppler track. So this is our radar. The blue is showing the snow out there, and I'm going to plot our temperatures right now. Where are we at right now? We're sitting at about 33 degrees in Madison. Fitchburg, you're just a couple of miles south of downtown Madison, so you're really close. Forecasted low temperatures tonight, we're going for right around 32 to 33 degrees. Some of those outlying communities, again, may get down to 30 to 31 degrees. So it's going to be really close in Fitchburg. This is going to be critical if temperatures hover right at 31, 32. That's just cold enough to allow that snow to continue to accumulate, and that negates, that kind of cuts back on some of the melting factor that we've been talking about for days here. Will flights be able to get in and out of Madison tonight? I've heard some unconfirmed reports that there's been some delays and cancellations. Again, I've been stuck in the weather mode showing the radar and the snow totals and the warnings. But this is that heavy, wet snow that builds up on the tarmac that the airport services are going to have to clear. And snow will move back in tonight as we head towards that 11, 12 o'clock time frame. I know flights tend to settle down around that point in time. We do expect another batch of snow. In fact, let me show that to you as we head towards the rush hour on your Wednesday to build back in. Let's look at our future track model, which has done a really good job these past couple of days of projecting this weather event. We have a number of different weather models, but this particular one is doing a really nice job. Let's go right to 6 o'clock in the morning. We have, according to our weather models, and I feel pretty confident in this, snowfall rates picking back up again overnight tonight, potentially heavy in the morning, and with winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour. I used to be a traveling weather trainer, training all these computer systems, and 40 to 50 mile per hour winds at the surface, not easy for flights. So I would not be shocked to see cancellations or delays at Madison's airport tomorrow. And some improvement tonight, at least in the snow factor, but the winds are starting to ramp up as well out there too, and that doesn't help our friends who have to fly planes and land those planes at the surface. When is the snow going to stop? That is a brilliant question. Snow should stop here as we head towards about this time tomorrow night, 6, 7 o'clock. So we have about 24 hours more of this impactful weather system in regards to the snow. We got about 7:21 here. We're going to transition things back over to live TV at 7:30. We're going to be cutting in approximately every 20 to 30 minutes to give you the latest updates on this impactful late season winter storm. So we'll take time here for about another 5 to 8 minutes for some more questions, and I'm going to do a recap as well in case you're just happening to dial in and want to know what is the most important things I need to get from Alex from this live feed on our impactful alert day conditions. We'll do that in just a moment. See if there's any more questions. You're very welcome. I see thank yous in here. I appreciate that. I thank you for tuning in as well, because we're all in this together. We're all in a community here. I'm providing a service to you folks, giving you this information. You're providing me a service by asking these questions that are questions that other community members probably want to know as well. So thank you. It's a two-way street here. Let's see if we have other questions popping in here. Is snow going to be on Thursday? There could be a few leftover rain and snow showers on Thursday, but the good news is once we get to Thursday, we see light at the end of the snow tunnel here, so to speak. Thursday will be chilly, though. We've been forecasting a warm-up, but this impactful weather event with the cold winds behind it, the leftover snow, it's going to cut down on that warm-up, reaching us until probably later in the weekend, going on out into early next week. You're all very, very welcome very much for these questions and doing this live feed. I very much appreciate doing them, and I enjoy doing them as well. So let me do a recap here as we take a peek here at our time here. We got about 5 minutes before we're going to transition back over to live television for cut-ins on the road. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is on the braving the roads this evening with our amazing photog BMES. It was not an easy go, and we're going to keep an eye on those roads as temperatures start to fall and that snow starts to move back in again as we head later into the evening. The storm is not done yet. So let's do a recap here. Alert day conditions here, folks, for the total of approximately 4 to 10 inches. The heaviest amounts north and going towards north and east of Madison. This is tonight lasting through your Wednesday, so it's not just tonight. We have winter storm warnings for a good portion of southern Wisconsin, the rest of southern Wisconsin into Wednesday under winter weather advisories. Again, earlier to my comment, we'll get updates from our National Weather Service. Usually we do mid to late evening as additional weather models come in that will help us better understand how much more snow we're up against here. Certainly another few inches of slushy snow accumulation tonight, and then a few more inches of slushy snow accumulation on your Wednesday as well when those winds really crank up as well. All right, Alex, when do you get to go home tonight? I'm in this through and through 100%. I've been into weather since I'm 4 years old, so even if I went home, I'm still going to be looking at it. But I appreciate the thoughts of getting home and getting some rest. But again, I'd just be pasted to looking at radar, and keeping you folks safe is my number one priority. But I appreciate the comment there. All right, so with our recap, we have our winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in effect going into Wednesday. And overall amounts here, widespread 4 to 10 inches from southwest to northeast, right across the heart of southern Wisconsin, Madison, Sauk County, Columbia County, up towards the north and towards the east. Likely going to see the upwards of those higher amounts, 10 inches plus. But I just want to call out here as well. Some of this snow is settling. The weight of it is settling, so it will look less than what it did before. Also, you got melting underneath of that surface, so that cuts down on what you see building up because it's April. But the overall amount of snow that we've received in the water adds up here to 4 to upwards of 10 inches or more. And definitely tune in tonight at 10 o'clock. We'll have those latest weather models in to give me a better indication on that heavier snow returning back into southern Wisconsin, which I'm pretty confident in will happen overnight going on into at least the morning hours of your Wednesday. All right. Well, I appreciate the many comments, many nice things said here. Again, this is what chief meteorologists do. They're in this together with you folks as a community, making sure that you stay safe. And again, taking the time to answer your questions means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to other folks who've dialed into our live feed here on Facebook, which is also on YouTube and also on channel3000.com. So if you don't get a chance, or you know somebody who hasn't had a chance to get this information, they most certainly can take a peek at our YouTube feed. This is being recorded if they want to get the latest, if they haven't had an opportunity to do so as well. So with that here, bottom line, snow sticking to surfaces tonight. Temperatures are falling. We're going to be out on the roads. We'll be doing some live cut-ins here in a few moments at about 7:35, carrying on through the evening, and then join us for our 10 o'clock broadcast as well. Road accumulations, we've already got that going on out there because we have that base of snow out there. Any snow that continues to fall will have the propensity, the likelihood, I should say, to stick. And we may increase our snow totals here. We're taking a comprehensive look here with the First Warn Weather Team behind the scenes. We've got meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Kelly, meteorologist Kelly Slifka is home sleeping. Kelly's going to be here tomorrow morning, give you the latest as that snow picks back up again. Jacob Montesano will be here tomorrow night as well. And of course, we want to do a shout out to meteorologist Buddy Reeves as well, who's been here helping out behind the scenes. We're all in this together, not just the community, but the First Warn Weather Team. We are here to make sure that you folks are safe. All right, so with that, we're going to turn things over to our live broadcast. So we will be breaking in periodically to give you the latest conditions on the roads, and I will be giving you updates periodically throughout the evening. And definitely join me tonight at 10. Thank you, everybody, for dialing in on Facebook, channel3000.com, and YouTube. And we'll see you folks on TV